Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rima Delima Anggelia, study ID number 22-2020-5076. Everyday life in the Soviet Union, the shopping runaround. The author, Hedrick Smith, was head of the New York Times office in Moscow from 1971 to 1974. The following passage is adapted from Mr. Smith's book, The Russians, which was published in 1976 by Quadrangel or the New York Times Book Company. I had heard about consumer shortage. We were going to Moscow, but only when we began to shop there did the Russian consumers' problems really have meaning for me. Customer, the word over wide in lines, but Soviet's line have a special quality all their own. Typically, the Soviet woman spends 2 hours a day in line, 7 days a week. Personally, I have known of people who stood in line 90 minutes to buy 4 pineapples and 3 square hours to buy 3 large heads of cabbage, only to find the cabbage were gone as they approached the front of the line. Line can run from a few yards to nearly a mile. Some friends of ours watched a line of people in Moscow sitting up to buy rugs. The line lasts 2 days and night and ran far across out of an apartment development. 2. In spite of all of this, the natural reaction of a Russian woman when she sees a line warming is to get in it immediately, even before she knows what is being sold. However, Soviet lines are more fluid than they appear. In most stores, for example, shopper must stand in not one but 3 lines for any purchase. The first, to select a purchase and find out its price. The second, to pay a cashier somewhere else in the store and get a receipt. And the third, to go pick up the purchase and turn in the receipt. 3. But in a dairy store one morning, I found out that the game is both simpler and more complex than that. I went in to buy some cheese, butter, and bolognese sauce, which were in the 3 separate departments, each with its own line, 9 lines. 4. Rather quickly, though I noticed that experienced shoppers were skipping the first stage. They knew what most items cost, so they went directly to the cashier for their receipts. After studying price, I did that too. Then I went to cheese line. The line is probably 20 people to get the worst over with first. I was in line less than a minute when the woman in front of me asked me to hold her place. She turned off to the butter and milk line. The cheese line was moving so slowly that she got her butter and milk returned before we had advanced 3 feet. I decided to take the risk too, and I got back with my butter while the cheese line was still inching along. 5. Then it suddenly occurred to me all over the store. People were getting into line, holding place, laying, returning. Everyone was using the cheese line as home base. That was why it was barely moving. It kept expanding in the middle. So I got the man behind me to hold my place, and I went off to buy my bolognese. Once again, it worked. It took me 22 minutes to buy butter, sauce, and cheese. But instead of being furious, I feel as if I had beaten the system. 6. This competitive shopping gives an atmosphere of tension of Russian life. People barge into stores and bump into each other with faces set in competitive experience. You have to understand, said a kind, gray-haired person, that for as long as we can remember shopping has been a struggle. This is a struggle. 7. There is hardly any effective advertising to help shoppers. American complaints about the constant commercials in the United States by the might reconsider if they were exposed to the consumer blackout in Russia. A typical Soviet and might be if you want to live to ripe old age and be beautiful, modest, stroke and truthful, drink tea. Most newspapers publish without ads. The shopper has no handy yellow pages or daily newspaper supermarket or department store ads to help her decide where to shop. 8. Bravery is white thread. Low paid 18 US dollar to 20 US dollar monthly. Sales clerks take a portion of attractive items and sell them secretly to regular customers who have either left a bribe in advance or can be counting on to pay a high price on delivery. 10 to 15 rubles and 60 rubles rank code is standard. In 1976, the ruble was equivalent to 132 cents dollar. 9. So come on, is this particular that the Soviet press is always complaining about it, but it doesn't do any good. Crocodile, the Soviet hammer may design. Once saw a department store employee promoting some newly arrived item. Dear customer, in the leather goods department, 500 important women's purses have been received. 450 of them have been bought by store employees. 49 are under the counter and have been ordered in advance for friends. One purse is in the display window with infinitive. You to visit the leather department to buy this purse. Thank you.